Om Shanti and good evening and a very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you for joining us here tonight and to be with us in discovering how harmony and balance goes together, right? Because we all want a very harmonious life. We want a very easy life. And then when we go off balance, what happens? And so, what is this balance all about? Sister Tina will tell us a lot about this balance tonight. What does it mean? And so, Sister Tina, you have heard her before, right? Very eloquent speaker, shares a lot. She really thinks a lot about it, really putting her heart and energy into what she's thinking of and doing. Sister Tina has a Ph.D. in plant science and has worked as a research scientist in an academic setting. She has been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for over 25 years. She currently serves at the Brahma Kumaris Global Harmony House Meditation Center in Great Neck, New York. Sister Tina loves to discover her inner strength and apply spiritual concepts to practical life, staying in dignity and peace in all she does. And if I have to add to that, she loves to serve humanity. She loves to see all those who need, where they need, and, going out and doing all the service that she can so that people can be touched, people's lives can be transformed. And so she has a passion for that. I can see that because whenever she hears there's an exhibition somewhere, who packs the bag first to go is Sister Tina. And so, Sister Tina, please do come. She has many, many beautiful speciality besides loving to serve. So we're going to hear it through her sharing tonight. Welcome, Sister Tina. Om Shanti. And family and soul, welcome.
Greetings, everyone. Good evening. Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Anjali, for sharing so beautifully. And this topic is so interesting. First, I chose the topic myself, but then afterwards, when I looked at the flyer, I was a bit confused, and I was like, "Harmony creates balance, or balance creates harmony?" It was like two sides of the same coin. I felt. Harmony creates balance, but also balance promotes harmony. So I felt that they are the two sides of, or they are the two aspects of self care. So harmony and balance both are at the heart or at the center of self care. And Brahma Kumari's meditation center is all about self care. The Raj Yoga meditation that we teach here is about self care. So I was thinking that they both deal with actually how I understand or I work with myself and also with everything that is valuable to me, right? So harmony and balance, they both deal with how I am working with my own self or I'm looking at my own self, but also how I'm interacting with everything else that is valuable to me in my life, that is important to me in my life. So because I felt that they both are like synonyms, they both can be interchangeably used. So I said, let me first find out what the dictionary says. And so I looked at the dictionary, and I felt that the dictionary, what it says is that the harmony basically is congruency, consistency. It's a very pleasing arrangement that is created. And many a times the example of music composition is given, when many different instruments come together, many different players come together, and they create a beautiful symphony, right? So it is interesting to see sometimes the question arises that is harmony something that is naturally created, or do I have to put in an effort to harmonize, with myself or with others around me? Now, what is it? Hmm? Is harmony something that you can experience naturally, or you have to put in an effort? What do you think? You think you have to put in an effort? Yes? How many of you think it's natural? It's a natural byproduct of maybe some practice that I'm doing. And it's natural. So I think it's both. Definitely, of course, let's say when I am having a very loving attitude, a very benevolent attitude, a feeling where I want to benefit myself, but also benefit the other person, then naturally there is no selfish motive and the two of us will go along together, right? So, in other words, I'm simply saying that in this process, where I am holding benevolent attitude or very loving attitude, I'm actually going closer and closer and closer to my own original self, to my own higher version, if you will. Now, when I say original self, means it is the self or it is the form of the self where there is no mixture. It is the form of the self where there is absence of any acquired energies, any alternative low vibrating energies, like, for example, the energy of jealousy or energy of competition or energy of hatred or energy of holding grudge, right? So when the form is pure form of love, for example, when the form is the form of pure peace, a form of love, a form of wisdom, a form of strength, that is the original self. And when I am able to work from that space, from that realm of being in my original form, then it's very easy for me to create harmony. And so maybe in the beginning, we can say it needs some effort, because right now I might be a little bit of mixture of this and that, right? I might be a little bit of mixture of good and bad, or good energy and alternative energy. I don't want to call it bad energy, but let's say alternative energy, right? So in this form, I have to strive or make effort. I have to struggle a little bit. But when I am practicing meditation or whatever spiritual practices that you might have, when I am trying to reach that state where I come to close connection with my original form, then there is no more effort. Then harmonization becomes very natural. In my own journey, I feel that there are two practices, especially, that really help me to create this harmony. And I'm nowhere saying that I'm perfect in that. It's a practice, right? And so I'm also practicing. The first practice that I feel is very important is to be in the present moment, fully present to this moment. So I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm not thinking about my history with that person or my history with that place. So I am just being in the present as to who I am. And when I'm fully present, basically what I am doing is I'm able to, I'm able to look at the current situation. I'm not dealing with questions, why this one is doing that, why that one is doing that, but I'm able to be in the present. And the second practice that I feel really helps me is the practice of being in the flow, or syncing with the flow, aligning myself with the flow. Because it is in that moment of conflict, let's say, for example, or otherwise situation, where sometimes it can happen that I'm not able to accept their behavior or their language of words or choice of words or whatever it is. And when I'm not accepting, basically I'm resisting. And where there is resistance, there is struggle, right? There is effort. So when I say I want to flow with the flow of life, I want to sync with this drama of life, I want to align myself on the wheels of drama of life, then I am actually able to accept. I'm not allowing myself to stop. I'm accepting so that I can keep moving. Because if I don't accept, I get stuck there. And the very common question I ask is, why me? Right? Instead, if I say, what is there for me to learn through this experience that life is bringing for me? This question gives me a chance to pause and to realign. Okay? You should ask a chiropractor how important realigning is, right? If there's little something hurting and you just realign yourself, instantly everything clicks and no more pain, right? No more struggle. So realigning myself to the flow of life, realigning myself and sinking to the flow of life is very, very important, right? Do you agree? So when I am saying that I'm fully present, right, and I am fully in sync with the flow of life, right? So what I am doing in that moment, I am practicing one of the principles of the Brahma Kumaris that they teach us. And that is the principle of knowing the innate goodness that is present in each one of us. Intrinsically, I am good. And intrinsically, you as a being is good. And so I'm able to now harmonize based on the virtues that I see in the other and not on the weaknesses. I'm not harmonizing because of the weakness that the other has. Let's say, for example, the other person um, is afraid of shining his light or her light, and they like to be in darkness. So I also pull my light inside, and I also, go into that shadow self. Or let's say the other person is very aggressive, and then I also harmonize to become aggressive like them, or the other person is timid or shy, and I also harmonize to become not like that. That is not harmony, but harmonization on the basis of the strengths or the specialities that I see in others. And so that is one of the teachings of the Brahma Kumaris, that you only see goodness in others, only pick jewels from others, only look at qualities of others. Because when I look at the quality or the goodness in others, it will inspire me to tone down my own negativity, but also it will help me to swallow or accommodate to their negativity. So basically, I'm using the power of discernment. I'm discerning that what is required here, and then I'm making myself easy. I'm creating a nature of easiness, right? If I'm very tight and if I stick to what I think is, my way should be the way, if I insist of being in that way, then it is very difficult, right? But harmony is created when there is flexibility, when there is movement, when there is, flow, then harmony is created. So harmony, this word also comes from Greek word harmonia. Harmonia is the name of Greek goddess of harmony in mythology, Greek mythology. It's basically to do with social harmony or harmony in marriages and things like that. But it means, harmonia means join, agreement. So joining to agreeing something or connecting to something. So in very simple words, if I have to describe what harmony means, then harmony means joining two people together. connecting something together, coming together. And so in doing that, in coming together, in creating that joint agreement, I see what is common in both of us so we can be on the same track. And then I ask myself, what is it that I can contribute or add, which is different and valuable, right? So two things. One, what is common that will make both of us come on the same track? And then two, what is different that I can add and it can be valuable contribution? And when I'm joining like that, I'm coming together like that in that connection, what I am saying basically is that yes, there are differences, right? We both are different, but yet we are coming together, we are connecting together based on what we can add and take from each other. And then we are able to create a beautiful harmony. Right? So sometimes I feel that this harmonia, this definition is exactly same as the definition of yoga. Yoga means to join. Yoga means to connect, to link. So when I am doing yoga, I am either connecting to myself, my own higher version of myself, or I'm connecting to the source, or I'm connecting to others, right? It's a journey inwards, journey upwards, and journey outwards, we say, yoga. So when I am doing yoga, when I'm connecting to myself or I'm connecting to my original self, like I described earlier, or my eternal self, which eventually helps me to connect with the source energy also, it is that natural state that is developed that then helps me to become harmonious with others around me. And of course, there is a big difference in that exists, right? Because if you know something about different types of people, then you know some are, some people are process oriented, some people are ideas oriented, some people are action oriented, some people are people oriented, right? And so there are different kinds of people. Somebody could be very pragmatic and wants to do practical and wants to quickly take an action and go. Whereas on the other hand, the other person could be a complete dreamer, right? Lives in a wonderland, imagines and, loves to be there and create idea and things like that. Now, if they two have to come together, how is it going to happen? And so therefore we say, to create this harmony, you need to really listen in carefully and listen beyond the words, behind the words, between the words, whatever you want to call it. So you're not only, you're not only just impacted by the words or you flow with the words that they used, but you look at the intention. Because I see this with myself, I sometimes pay so much attention to words that others use, and I get imbalanced, why did they say this? They could say this in this way, And so words kind of, and I've started to tell myself that I have to read between the words. I have to read behind, I have to check the feelings, I have to see the intention. Because when I get to know the intention, I hear carefully, I listen carefully, then that helps me to actually create a more beautiful relationship with that person. Sometimes they might not mean what the word is saying, right? Especially in New York, where there are so many culturally different communities and people living together. So that is what I feel is harmony. And I'll come back to harmony, but I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about balance. So I was looking at the dictionary meaning of balance, and it says a state of equilibrium. Balance is a state of equilibrium. Now, equilibrium does not mean you have equal weight on both sides. Equilibrium is not like they show that balance where this has 10 kgs and this has 10 kgs, not like that. But equilibrium is a state where I remain, spiritually speaking, I remain same. That's why I like the word neutral better than equanimity. Because neutral means I remain unruffled, I remain unimpacted, I remain uninfluenced, I remain unperturbed, right? I remain very composed. I remain calm. I remain quiet. I remain in my dignity of being a Raja Yogi, if you will, right? So I am in that consciousness of being a sovereigner of the self. I am the master. I am the co-creator of my destiny. Things like that, where I am not impacted by everything that is happening around me. And in nature, there are beautiful examples of balance. Nature itself is in balance, right? There are so many trees, one planet, 100 million thousands of living creatures, right? And yet everything is, the ecosystem is such a beautiful balanced system, right? If you look at our own face, the human body itself is a very beautiful balanced system, but also our face is such a beautiful balance. Imagine if we had two mouths and two noses, right? Right. So even when you see a player who is kicking the ball to make the goal, and he throws it and a goal is made, we say he was in balance. A surgeon who is under pressure performing a very complex surgery and the surgery is successful, we say he was composed, he was balanced, right? But if he has to perform that surgery on his own relative, they don't allow that because that time they're not in complete balance. So balance is not overdoing anything. Balance is not over planning anything. We have some signals that we receive every day to practice. And the signal for today is to think less, think about knowledge. That means I don't have to think too much. I don't have to plan too much. Yes, I have to plan, but then I also have to flow with the flow of life, right? I have to align myself. If something changes, then I quickly also am able to change. Otherwise, I fall back, right? So, balance does not mean that I am doing extreme dieting, for example. Balance does not mean equal proportion on both sides, right? So let's say, for example, somebody said, oh, 3 days I ate, now 3 days I'm going to fast. That work. Or 1 week I'm going to work and 1 week I'm going to be with my family. Is that balance? Or I slept for 8 hours, now I'm going to eat for 8 hours. Does that work? No, that is not balance, right? That kind of balance does not work. And so sometimes people think that balance is a myth. Actually, not. Balance is not a myth, but balance does not mean that I have to reconcile one with another. So, for example, they will say, I have so many different elements in my life, so many different areas in my life. I have to look at myself, I have to look at my family, I have to look at my work, I have to look at my health, I have to look at my friends, right? And so, in all these areas, it's like a jigsaw puzzle of all these different elements of my life. And I'm trying to tick all of them together. And I'm always not very successful in creating that balance, right? We say, I'm learning to be more balanced. I'm learning to be more balanced. But what we are doing is actually, we are trying to jump from this place to this place, and then from this place to this place. So, like family, friends, vacation, family, work, doctor, then family, work, and then friends, then vacation. You're constantly going around these areas in your life. And so when you're jumping from one place to another, to another, to another, of course, it's not balanced, right? So I try to be oneself when I'm in the workplace. I try to be different when I'm in the church. I try to be different when I'm with my family. I try to be different, right? I'm being different in different areas of my life. And that does not help. So the challenge is not that I have to be equal, but the challenge is I have to be one in all areas of my life. And that is the authentic self. I don't behave differently when I'm with my family, and I behave differently when I'm at the church, or I behave differently when I'm at work, right? If I can bring myself in that place of oneness, that complete unity, and I center myself, then that really helps me. So the question that will help us if we ask ourselves is that, am I moving with the situations around me? Because I don't have any control. Or am I able to go in the direction that I want to? Or am I just wanting to, play this game of this endless game of acting, reacting, acting, reacting, acting, reacting, right? If I like this, acting and then reacting and then acting and then reacting, then I don't have to do anything. Right? It is only when I'm in the present moment that I will not be reacting. I will observe but not react. I will observe but not absorb. And of course, it's a practice. It takes time. It's not easy, like you say, and you're done, right? Reactions happen. But this is not what I want. I want to be in that second place, no, where I'm able to go in the direction that I want to go. The first one, where I am shaking because of the things that are moving around me, means I have no control over me. I'm subservient. I'm influenced by them. I'm impacted by them. There is no control at all. So harmony means to have a little control, even if it is for temporary time period. I have a control on this relationship. I have a control on this state of being, right? That is what yoga is. Raj Yoga means to become a master of the self, to gain that self-sovereignty. And so balance means that I am centering myself. I am becoming one. And then I am looking at my whole life, all different areas of my life. So we'll do one little exercise. I brought this. If you have a pen and paper, you can, or you can just do it in your mind. Yeah. So what we have to do, even those on the Zoom can do. So in the center of a paper, you say I, like this. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you take a piece of paper and in the center of that, you write I. And you can do it in the mind if you don't have a piece of paper, yeah? And then you draw an arrow with two heads, right? Double-sided arrow like this. And on one end, you write family. Okay. You're able to see? Are you able to see? Yes. Okay. So you draw I in the center of the page and you draw a line with two-headed arrows and then you write family. Yeah. And then you draw a second arrow like this and you write work. Yeah. You write work. Then you draw a third line and with two arrows again. And you write there friends. Yeah. You write friends. Now you draw another line and you write there community. Community, neighborhood, or whatever you connect with, people, other people. Yeah. You reached here? You're looking at your community. And then you draw one more arrow and you write here nature. Okay. Yeah, nature. Yeah. And then one last arrow. And you write here, you can write divine or I wrote God. You can write divine or source, whatever is comfortable for you. Okay. Yeah. So I call this as a mind map or a little mandala for me to kind of see myself. Remember, I am at the center, right? So when I look at this map, yeah, I'm telling myself that I am not different in different areas of my life. I am one in different areas of my life. I am at the center. And yes, I have all these different stuffs happening around me. So come like a helicopter view, see yourself in the center and see there is a family, there are people, there is a nature, there is God, all these different areas of my life, right? In your mind, you visualize this. Okay, and we're going to do a little exercise. So I am at the center of my life, right? I am one in different areas of my life. I am grounded, I am stable, and very gently, I bring my family on the screen of my mind. Bring your family on the screen of your mind. And then ask a question, what is the best thing that I have received from my family? And what is the one thing that I am giving to my family? What is the best thing that I'm receiving from my family? And what is one thing that I am giving to my family? So it is in this giving and receiving that I'm creating a balance. Now, slowly bring your work on the screen of your mind. You see your workplace in your mind. And once again, you ask this question, what am I receiving from this work? And what am I giving to this work? Because again, in giving and receiving, I'm creating a balance. And if this is not enough time, you can actually take this exercise with you and do it at home, where you give enough time to yourself. But slowly you bring your friends on the screen of your mind and remember the principle of innate goodness, right? You're only being very grateful and you're being very generous. You're being grateful for what you're receiving and you're being generous in what you're giving. So when you look at your friends on the screen of your mind, you ask, what am I receiving? What is one best thing that has happened to me or I have received from my friends? And what is one thing that I give in my friendship? And then slowly you go to a higher place above the town you live in, or about the neighborhood, or about the community where you are, and you see your community on the screen of your mind. And you ask, what am I giving? What am I getting? What am I receiving from this community? And what am I giving to this community? Hmm? And then on the screen of your mind, you bring your favorite nature, picture of your favorite nature. It could be you are sitting next to a lake, or you're on the top of the mountain, or you are near a sea side, or you're under the tree, or you're in a beautiful garden, or you're looking over a valley. Whatever is your favorite, you bring that, bring nature on the screen of your mind. And what am I giving to the nature? And what have I received? One best thing from the nature. Every time I have to be very grateful for what I receive, and every time I be generous in what I am giving. Right? Remember this law. Giving and receiving creates balance. Automatically it will happen. And then now I visualize myself as this living entity. No one is pushing me, no one is pulling me. There are no strings attached. I am stable, I am free, I am grateful, I am content, I am happy, I am stable, I am in my dignity. I am the life giving force in this body. I am that energy that holds this body together, that makes this body function, right? So I am the energy that is at the center of this life. And I visualize myself as a point of light, just like you see the little point here on the screen behind me. So I see myself as a point of light in the center of the forehead here. And as I am, so is my spiritual parent. So because I am energy, a point of light, my spiritual parent is also energy, a point of light. And so very naturally on the screen of your mind, now you see a thread connecting the soul to the supreme source energy, who we also call as universal energy or God or divine being. So when I am connecting myself with this supreme source energy, the one who is ever stable, most stable in the entire universe, constantly in balance, constantly in harmony with everything, everyone. And just by connecting with him, I feel grounded. I feel centered. I feel calm. I feel composed. I feel light. He is the ocean of love, ocean of peace, ocean of harmony, right? And so when I connect with this light, I'm able to experience this. And now I ask myself, what do I get by forging this connection with the divine? What is one best thing that I have received by connecting with this divine? Perhaps I become more stable. I come into balance. And then the other question you have to ask is, what do I give to the divine? And some of you might say, oh, what do I give? But of course, no, but you can give the best of yourself. I give the best of me so that he can use me in whatever way he wants to use me. I can become the best of me and give that and say that I am your instrument and you can use me wherever you want to use me. I can be best of myself and say, I am your right hand. I am available. I'm offering myself. I'm available in your task of world transformation that you're doing, right? So you open your heart again. When you are receiving, you're being very grateful. And when you are giving, you're being very generous. Take everything, my heart, my mind, my body, my time, everything is available for you to use, right? And so you be very generous. And then you will see when you're able to do this exercise, you'll realize how beautifully, one, you become the master of your life. You're able to control these different areas, even though if it's a little bit temporary, if you will, but you're able to form that alignment. You're able to form that harmony. Harmonization happens naturally then. So it's very easy when you start to do this exercise to come to that place. Now, why this is important is because it helps me to become stable. This exercise makes me stable, no? I am not moving. I am in the center. And this is very important to bring balance in my life. I have to be very stable. A jumping monkey from one branch to another is not in balance, right? Cannot be in balance. You can't call it balance. So I have to be centered. And this process, this exercise helps me to be in center. My connection with the divine helps me to be in the center. I'm able to see things clearly. Clarity comes. And then I know what I should do and what I should not do. How I should prioritize my time, where I should give, what is more important to do, what is not so important to. I really get the clear picture of all of that. And I'm able to deliver it accordingly. Balance really means that I am satisfied and you are satisfied, right? Everyone that needs to be satisfied in my circle is satisfied, is content, is happy, right? So that is how balance would look like, no? Right? So one other thing I wanted to share is this whole thing about so one other thing that they say that Aristoxenus, who was the pupil of Aristotle, he was a philosopher, a writer, and he wrote this book called The Elements of Harmony. And in that book, he claims that only a listener's ears can create harmony. Right? So that's why when I was talking about harmony, I was saying that you have to listen between the words. You have to listen behind the words. You have to understand the intention more, right? And so I was looking at this image of Chinese symbol of active listening. I don't know, some of you might already know this. It looks something like this. I tried to draw it. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I tried to draw it. And so this symbol is a Chinese symbol for listening, active listening, and it has 5 elements in it. This letter from here, right? This like this means ear. And this little like E kind of letter, this means king. And this one means 10. And then this little rectangle with 2 lines is eyes. There's one straight line, which means one or single. And then there's this symbol, which is heart. So what they say is that I am like that king. Wrap your ears. You have to wrap your ears around the king. If you see, this symbol is wrapping itself around this. So wrap your ears around the king and focus with 10 eyes, with humble eyes on the self, with one single undivided heart. So when I become centered, you understood? I don't need to repeat, right? You understood this? Yeah? Hmm? So when I become centered like this, right? I am not divided any longer. My heart is not divided. Oh, I have to give more time to friends now. Now I have to give more time to nature. Now I have to give more time to the center. Now I have to give more time to family. No, I'm not divided into pieces like that. I'm focused, I'm centered, I am in balance, I'm stable, right? I am calm, I'm composed, I'm doing what I have to do, right? So I really have to pay attention to recognize the pulse of people's preference, what they want in that moment. And this is what Brahma Kumaris, one of the teachings is that let's say somebody comes to you and he's very thirsty and you say, oh, I have Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you must drink this. Doesn't help, right? They want water in that moment. So it's like what this connection demands, what my family wants, what my work wants. If I'm able to recognize and the pulse of that need in that moment, then I'll be able to deliver it. And when I'm able to deliver, of course, they will feel content. And when they are content, when I did something, I will also feel content. So it's a cycle, right? So this is what I have churned so far on this. I'm sure it's not extensive, but I will open for questions if you have any. Go a little bit from there. Anyone has any questions? Does that make sense? Hmm? Yes, yeah. Any questions? Or comments? Easier said than done. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's why I said that practice is needed, to be fully present, to be not reactive, to really understand that I have to flow with the flow. Yeah. So I completely agree with you. It needs a little bit of practice on our side. But once you are able to practice, then you become pro at it and it becomes natural. Like when you see these dancers, right, who are dancing on the stage, and there are like sometimes there are 100 dancers. Have you seen those big performances? And they all are in sync, they all are congruent, they all are creating a very pleasant arrangement, right? And you're like in awe, like, how are they doing it? But it's not overnight that they did it, huh? They practiced over a long period of time. And it is that practice that helps them to come to that stage where now they are doing all that they're doing in harmony, in perfect balance. So we also can jazz along and play along and sing along and dance along and harmonize along with each other as long as we are willing to practice. So one thing before you speak, Jennifer, um, forgetting your name, remind me your name. Jennifer. Okay, okay, I remember. That means. So just one moment. I was thinking one thing that is very important also is they say that harmony is created by the one who soughts after harmony. And so the question that we need to ask ourselves is what am I willing to do or what am I doing to create harmony? I just share one personal experience. This morning I was here from 3 a.m. 4 a.m. actually, and then I was working, doing something. And it was around 5:45. Maybe I was physically tired, I don't know. But then my big sister, Anjani, came in the room and I asked her to do something. And she said, really? And just that one word threw me off. I asked her to do one thing and it threw me off. And then I was like, okay, I quickly realized and I said, I don't want to say anything. Om Shanti. And she also said, I don't want to say anything. Om Shanti. And we both became quiet. And then, of course, we have our morning discourse and we have our, yoga. And we both must have, like, I know for myself, I was giving good thoughts and I'm sure she must be doing the same thing. And after the class, when I was doing some other session, she texted me, let's talk. And then when we sat together to talk, she explained what was going on and I explained what was going on. And instantly the energy changed. I could feel it instantly. So I felt so good. And I want to thank you, Sister Anjani, if you're listening. I don't know. But it's like it was so nice in that moment itself to come back and say, yes, we sought to harmonize with each other. We want to be with each other. We want to dance along. We want to be together and, just remove that energy, which is not very pleasant, for example. So you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do or what are you doing to create harmony in your life? Right? So that's what I'm learning. It's a learning process and I completely agree with you. It's easy said than done, but it is doable. Because I'll tell you one more thing. Like this, in when you're doing yoga, I need a paper. Okay, maybe here. So when you're doing yoga, right? Let's say here is the supreme. Yeah, in the center. And one of us is here, 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 one of us is here. And what we are doing in yoga, we all are trying to connect with the same, right? We all are coming close and close and close. And so, in a way, we all are coming into the same field of vibrational energy. And so, when we do that in yoga, it really helps us to harmonize our sanskars. And that's what I felt, that we both did yoga, right? And instantly the energy changed. So, it's very important to connect with the same source and come to your original self. Yeah. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Is it on? Okay.
Yes.
So the diagram was very helpful, right? For us to be able to picture all these pieces of
Mm.
our lives.
Yeah.
And we don't all have as much practice under our belts. And we come to this beautiful oasis on Thursday night. Everything seems possible.
Yes.
And then we go back out into the world and right. Which is of course why practice is the most important thing,
Right.
right? And I feel very connected. Like I'm already entering the field on Thursday morning
Mm.
when I know I'm coming here Thursday night. It's really beautiful. So for me, all the pieces on that pie are very unbalanced,
Mm.
right? And when we are in harmony, when we're, I thought of when I first came in and I was a little bit late, so I didn't catch your opening. Srimant, right?
Mm.
So when we're practicing Srimant, then we get informed.
Then
We get informed.
informed.
We're in alignment, right?
Yes.
I see Srimant and I may not understand it appropriately, but for me, my understanding of Srimant is that alignment
You're right.
with God and with the source. And when that alignment is happening, and that comes from our practice of the yoga,
Mhm.
it informs everything else. It's like a river that just flows out.
Right.
Because what I'm observing in my own mind's eye now is how so much is unnecessary.
Mm.
So
Right.
that's where my practice is right now. So
Yes. Yes.
it's good to be reminded
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
here with everybody. Thank you.
Right. Right. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Too much talking, too much thinking, too much, it's not necessary. Really not necessary. And Shrimat, for those who don't know, it's made of two words. It's a Hindi word, Shri plus Mat. Shri means elevated, Mat means directions. So it's the most elevated directions that we receive. And so when I imbibe those directions, let's say, for example, Srimad says, consider yourself to be a soul, a point of light and energy, and remember me as a soul, as a point of light. So when I actually do that, like I was saying, I follow that Srimad, then I am aligning myself with the supreme energy. And automatically I draw upon his energy into myself and I infuse that in everything I do. I integrate. Integration is nothing but harmonization and balancing. I integrate everything together. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone wants to say online something? Or any final comment here? I can't hear. I can't hear if you're talking something.
Leave those right there. Once you have them there. Where? Oh.
Maybe they're talking to themselves. Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else here anyone wants to say? Huh? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's close with the commentary then. 2 minutes. Yeah. Om Shanti. This is the mantra that I use to instantly stabilize myself. Om means I am. Shanti means peace. So I see myself in my original eternal form of being an embodiment of peace. I am peace. I am master of my inner kingdom, my mind, my intellect, everything I'm able to direct in the righteous direction simply by creating one powerful, pure thought. And when I say that I am peaceful, my mind becomes cooperative. My mind becomes calm. My intellect begins to become stable. And when my mind and intellect become calm and stable, my heart begins to align. In this state of being peace, I practice complete alignment of head and heart. I am not different in my thinking and in my feeling. There is congruency in my thoughts, words, and actions. I feel peaceful internally and externally. Because the moment I say I am peace, I begin to radiate the vibrations of peace. I begin to color every aspect of my life with peace. The vibrations of peace reach all around me into the atmosphere, creating peace within and peace outside. It is in this state of calmness and composure where I feel that I'm able to be in a state of harmony and balance with myself first, with the role, the part that I play, with every scene that plays out in my life. I am in harmony and in balance with the divine source energy. And I'm able to bring that harmony and balance into all my relationships on this planet. Experience yourself to be at the center of your life, the master of your life, and hold on to this aim to bring constant balance in everything I think, speak, and do. Om Shanti. Thank you, everyone, for showing up here. It was lovely to share. And thank you, everyone on the Zoom. Om Shanti. Have a good night. Om Shanti. There is a little sweet and a blessing card that we can give.